ideas and content expressed in this podcast are our own and do not reflect the views or opinions of any current or previous. I almost made it.
You almost
previous
made it.
Employers.
You know that's going in there. That's it.
Yeah, I think we should have a song that sings the disclaimer.
We should sing the disclaimer? You want to sing it?
I don't want to sing it. I want someone else to sing it.
That would be cool. I don't know if anybody... People would sing along, man. It'd be awesome. People would be driving down the street singing along. I think it'd be really cool.
Ideas and content.
So, I feel like I need to... We were talking about hunting last time.
Yeah.
And I swear, my wife has declared my backyard as a national, animal conservation area.
Yeah, lots of wives do that. Dude, you have to overcome it by sneaking out before they wake up.
Dude, I grow, what the hell are they called? Melons, cantaloupes. Mm-hmm. I say I grow.
You grow. You mean you planted some seeds and they're still alive?
They're still alive. But there's one out there. There was one out there. It was big. And I've been watching it. I tell you, I caught a groundhog inside my... So I have a fenced in area.
Yeah.
And I went out there what the hell is this? There's a groundhog in there.
Right. Eating up all your veggies.
He's eating my melons, dude. The one thing that's survived so far. The one thing I haven't killed.
I'm sorry, you can't do anything about it because this is a wildlife preserve area.
You know, she goes, he lives here too. He was here first. And I was like, oh my God.
Lives, dies, you choose.
I'm like...
Eat the melon again, dude.
So we went out of town for 2 days. And the only thing I could think about while we were gone was that one melon. Because there's 30 of them out there. But there's one that I wanted...
That's your prize melon.
It's going to be the only thing I get out of my garden all year, right? I tried to eat a tomato.
Do you have a fence or anything around it? It's totally your fault.
So I'm a master builder. So I built a whole fence, chicken wire and everything, but I ran out of material for it's all reclaimed. It's all stuff that was trash that was going to go in the garden or go in the trash in the dumpster.
It's a trash border.
It's a trash fence I built, except for this chicken wire. Well, I didn't estimate this. I didn't estimate right. All right, it's out there. It's out there in the world. All right, my estimating skills are not great.
Right.
So I got all the way around the corner, right where the gate's supposed to be, and I ran out of material. So
there's a door.
So there's
for the groundhog.
So there's no. Yeah. So basically, I made a groundhog door. So I trapped him in there.
This tricky son of a bitch keeps getting in here.
How does he break my code and get into this garden? So
he's just coming through the door.
He's just essentially just walking in. There's nothing stopping.
Right.
Anyway, so I've caught him in there twice. Both times I chased him out. I let him live, because I'm merciful, and Gina would murder me.
And he let you get back in the house before he went back through the door.
Yeah, but he keeps eating these melons. So anyway, the whole time I'm gone, all I can think about is a stupid melon. This one melon, because I want to eat it. So I get back, I go out there, and I'm not a gardener, man. I don't know what happened. It looks like it split open from the inside out. The groundhog didn't get it.
Did it dry up in the heat?
It's like I watered it too much. It's like it had too much water and it burst. I don't know, man. I'm not a gardener. Anyway, we're not here to talk about gardening or the animal sanctuary I have in my backyard.
I mean, we don't have to put any of this in the podcast if you would just edit it.
No.
He just starts and stops.
Forget it.
I love it.
Anyway, all right. So today we're actually talking about something super important. I always say that, but it's true. We're going to talk about the difference between builders and schedulers.
Right.
And, when I use the term builder, I think of a guy or gal, whatever, a person that's doing more than just calling trades up and having them come out to the job to do work, right? So, I've recently spent some time with a bunch of construction managers, and the one thing that there's a huge divide, I think, between, and it's almost like the difference between an apprentice and a master builder, master plumber,
right.
Whatever. Whereas, we've got a lot of construction managers out there that I would classify them as schedulers because they're not quite at the level of what I would call a builder, if that makes sense.
Totally.
So it's actually one thing that our mutual friend Jake says quite a bit. He's like, I'm a builder. He's always saying it. And there's a lot of truth to that. But he's also got 20-some years experience
He's never mentioned that though. That's weird.
He's never told how amazing
He's never said anything about his accolades.
Anyway, so there's a big distinction, right? So I think you can take a guy, and a lot of companies do this, and they train him and they say, here's how you use our scheduling software. Here's how you pay our bills.
Right.
Here's, and here's our safety program. They throw him out in the field and they're like, go do it. Go start building. You're a builder.
Right.
But I don't think that makes you a builder.
I think it's part of it. I think it's definitely an important part of it. And I also think that when you say that you're a builder or a scheduler, and that could be a flaw, I think it's more like any builder can be guilty of only scheduling at some point because you get sidetracked, you're busy with stuff, you're on vacation, and then you come back and it's easy to just start and finish work.
Well, I think,
and that's not the whole game. I think that's what you mean by builder versus scheduler, right?
It is. And I think in some instances, the technology that we use has actually taken the builder aspect out of the construction management. True. Because you don't have to. So when I think of a scheduler versus a builder, I think a scheduler is like, I've got all these trades lined up. They're going to come out. They're going to do their job. They're going to go 1, 2, 3, and at the end of the day, I'm going to have my project completed. Right. Whereas a builder, when he's looking at a schedule, he's got the ability, or she's got the ability to say, you know what, I have time constraints here, I have these different obstacles. They actually understand not just what comes first, second, and third, but how each individual trade is going to come in, what their requirements are to actually get their work done, right. How they're going to do it. So it's a little bit more technically advanced, whereas like you talk to these old guys, these old-time CMs that are, they've been around forever, they're super crusty, but those dudes can tell you, the specs on a nail if you ask them, because they're builders. They've been doing it for so long.
True.
But I think it goes beyond just the technical knowledge. So I told a group of construction managers the other day, I was like, I am a builder, and I told them that in the reference of I plan for my projects. So, a friend of mine had made the comment. He said, hey, every trade that comes out here, because we were talking about pre-construction meetings and how important they are with our clients. And he was like, no, man, that's important with every trade. Everybody that comes out, you should have that pre-construction so that they understand exactly what you expect and that you understand what they need. And I was like, why do you do that? And he goes, because I'm a builder. And I was like,
well, a builder, I would say, is the guy who's responsible for that whole project in its entirety. I think that what happens, especially in big companies, and I've seen this, a couple of different ways, a couple of different scenarios, but when you're not the one who puts together the agreement with the contractors, sometimes you feel like, well, it's not my fault it wasn't included. I did what I was supposed to do. I got them here. They did everything that they say they were supposed to, and my job is done. And that's why these 10 things are still not finished. and that I say, it's your job as a builder to make sure that it's done properly, that the next guy is going to have all his things ready for him. Because let's face it, we build up, we dig a hole, we start forming things up and building in that hole, and then we backfill that hole, and then we put construction on construction, and it's your job as a builder to make sure that all those things are ready for the next guy. Yeah. We joke, I know we've talked about this before, but I always like to say like the 70%. Like you get a guy out there to do his job and he does 7 out of 10. Yeah. And then you spend the next 2 weeks trying to get him in there for the last 30. And it's like, or the next 3 anyway, but I hear this a lot, especially from younger guys. Hey, dude, you know that this is coming in 2 days, and you still don't have this very important part of your construction project done. Well, I called him. How many times have you heard that?
Oh, dude, it's either I called him or I texted
him. That's the 2000-something version of I called him. Yeah. Or I emailed him, or I sent the form in. Yeah. Well, you've done a small fraction of what a builder does to build a home or to build a structure of any kind.
Yeah. So I guess the big question is, right, so because a builder wouldn't just call him. Builder's going to make sure he's going to, he's going to make sure that they're sure. He's going to call the foreman. He's going to call the owner of the company. He's going to call whoever does their scheduling. He's going to follow with an email. Right. So the question really is, how do we take that leap from, I say the question really is, how do we take that leap from, builder to scheduler? So the question really is, how do we take that leap from, I say the question really is, how do we take that leap from, builder to scheduler? So the question really is, how do we take that leap from, builder to scheduler? So the question really is, how do we take that leap from, scheduler to builder. How do you bridge that gap?
It's true. I think one of the first things that you do is understand what it is you're building. Because if you know that it's a house, you know that it's 4 bedrooms, and you're pretty sure about the trim specs, and you're pretty sure what kind of lights are going in it, but you haven't really looked into all the details, and when you come out to check work each day, or to start work each day, or to get, like you said, a pre-construction meeting with each subcontractor or with the homeowner or whoever, if you understand it first, then you know what expectations to give to them.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of guys in residential home building are just checking in, starting work, paying or saying that the work is done, completing it in their schedules, and moving on to the next trade. And what you end up with at the end, how many times have you seen this? And this is, the guy who raised me, he basically said, I remember catching hell for not having stuff done last minute. And you're scrambling around trying to get homes finished, right? And he comes over and he's like, what is your problem? Why are all these things not done? How do you live with yourself? You're a failure. I was raised by a very sarcastic guy. No, but he's right. And I'd say, but what about all the stuff I got done? And he'd go, you mean all the stuff that automatically comes out when you schedule the tasks? Yeah. The framing is in. It sucks and it's not straight, but it's in.
But it's there.
Because the automatic tools that we have set up, Build Pro or Supply Pro or your fax or your text, those things get the guy there, get the thing moving. But that's not what makes you a builder. What makes you a builder is that you're making sure that it's right.
Yeah, no, I think that's a big part that's missing. It's great to have all these, software programs and have all these, all this automation and everything's online, everything's in the cloud, blah, blah, blah. But it's real easy to miss. It's real easy to be like, I am a master at software, at manipulating these numbers. But it's totally different to be an actual builder and understand, plumb, level, square, and to make sure that everything that goes in the house or the building or whatever you're building is correct. And I think a lot of it starts with proper planning, understanding exactly what the project is that you're building.
I mean, I've got another example of just building and scheduling. I went to a job a couple years ago. We'll call it a couple years ago. To inspect before we did production reviews. And there's some trash in the front yard, and there's some things not buttoned up from trades that have come through already, whether there was material not available or whatever. It's hard to say. But I went into the backyard.
That's cheating.
Yeah, right. I remember another guy that I worked with at a young age used to say, dude, there are basements and exteriors on every house. You got to look at those too. You can't just go in and check vanities and tile. You have to build the entire house.
I love it.
Yeah, but so we go in the backyard and we're looking at things, and I realized that the backfill was done and the rough grade was done. It wasn't solid all the way up to the house. It's like they ran out of dirt that day or caught in the rain or something. And there's this pit up against a couple of areas, and there's some trash in it.
Wait, what was the problem? What was on the way to the house?
The backfill.
Okay.
Either it was dug up or I can't remember the scenario exactly, but there's, it's a full backfilled basement. It's 6 or 7 feet of dirt down to the footing.
Maybe the customer ordered a moat, man. Did you check the options?
Well, that's what it looked like in the back. It looked like, so you got water that is, when it is raining, rolling out of this thing, hitting the side of the wall.
Yeah.
It's waterproofed and everything properly, but overload. Plus, there's a swale in the backyard, and then a hill behind it. And here I'm thinking, if they'd have just finished the backfill, or even got it at the rough grade, or even done a rough grade.
Is it a finished house?
No. This is getting down to the end.
Okay.
We're checking to make sure that this thing is going to meet its schedule and all that stuff.
Gotcha.
But I'm looking at this thing and I'm thinking, that's the difference between a builder and a scheduler.
For sure.
He scheduled it. He scheduled backfill. The guy brought a dump truck and a freaking loader over there.
Yep.
And he started working, and we checked that box.
Yeah.
And now there are a whole bunch of other subsequent problems. There's trash. There's backfill. There's negative grade. The swale's not draining. There's a pile of dirt right in the middle of the swale, so it's ponding water up there. The inlet's not protected, and it's you scheduled it, but you're not building it. You know?
Right. You know what? Another example of that is that I see it all the time. Is you've got, your grade, your fine grade, it's done. Your landscaping's in, all your hardscapes in, but you're missing. You know that you're gonna daylight all your drains. You go ahead and put sod down anyway.
Right.
You know that you got a lamppost. You got to put in a trenchlet lamppost. You go ahead and put your sidewalk in anyway.
Right.
And then you end up having to do rework where you got to dig underneath these things. So when you've taken something that's finished and you've wrecked it,
Totally wrecked it.
to do other work that you didn't, think about.
Right.
Now you put it all back together.
And sometimes you even have that happen with a critical path item.
Yeah,
That
dude.
you're like working around so that you don't lose the additional 3 days to the 2 weeks you're going to lose. Like,
Yeah.
that stuff is tough, man. And the
It
better
is
you
tough.
are at building that, the more you learn from your mistakes in those scenarios.
Oh,
the better off
100%,
you'll be.
dude.
And don't let yourself, because you're the only reason why your schedule's jacked up.
Oh, dude, let me tell you something. I once ordered an entire row of, this is terrible. And thankfully it was like a long time ago. But I once ordered an entire row of townhomes cabinets way early because I wasn't managing my schedule, man. And they showed up, and my drywaller showed up and said, "I'm not drywalling this house until you get those cabinets out of there." And I literally took 6 houses worth of cabinets, put them in the backyard because you can't see them from the street.
Oh, my God.
And I covered them with tarps.
I would have fired you.
I should have been fired. and I while I drywalled 6 townhomes, man,
Right.
it took so these cabinets literally sat outside in the winter, no less.
Fortunately, it was Arizona, right? Super dry.
No, sir, they got rained on and snowed
It's
on.
like I've never even been there.
So it was, and I think back on that, man, and I'm like, what was I doing? I did build 78 townhomes that year by myself. So,
Well, overwork is part of what takes away the builder and makes you a scheduler. I mean, a lot of the companies that are
it really
nationwide, they're not there building, they're there scheduling, and there's a difference. It's up to you, because I've seen guys that work at high-paced, super volume construction companies that build a really good product, and they are truly builders, and they take pride in it, and that's part of what it is too, just taking pride.
Dude, and they make a ton of money because they're able to work at a high volume and still turn out the quality.
True.
That's when you're dealing with somebody that is serious about what they're doing. All right, so one of the things you said, and I can feel like CEOs rolling over and just saying, stop, because we were talking about high volume and how all this technology allows people to build faster houses, but we're saying as a builder, maybe you should slow down.
Yeah,
That's not what anybody wants to hear.
No, and that's not what we mean, because I pride myself on how many I can put up every year. I always have. And you know what? I'm always the kind of guy that's like, oh, that's like, you want 40? Well, I'm going to do 43. How about that? Like, it's going to be awesome. Everybody's going to love it. I'm going to compensate for somebody else's failure, and you're going to love me for it. And, sometimes throughout the year, you're like, oh, God, what have I done?
Well, you know what's funny, dude? I had a guy say to me the other day, he goes, man, I'm so busy. And I was like, oh, how many houses you got going? And he's like
4.
well, he goes, I got 8 going. I was like, you got 8 going?
Wow.
I was like, are you kidding me? Are they?
What do you do after 10:30 every day?
Right. I was like 8 whole houses. You're getting it, buddy. And
Don't get me wrong, it's super stressful. When you're building it, you've got different things at different stages. It's not easy. That's not what we mean.
Oh, dude, I'll tell you what. I got a project coming up that's going to be super tough. Super tough. But you know what, man? I'm a builder. So I'm not worried about it.
Yes, that means you're going to run into tons of problems, and you're going to have to come up with solutions for them, and not just hope that they work themselves out. Like,
Kidding.
we had one, this year, where it was an addition on a home, an outdoor living addition with a roof over top of it. But the way that it worked is like the roof also covered part of the first floor. Does that make sense? The first floor jutted out from the second floor.
Yeah.
And the roof for the outdoor living also covers 6 feet of the inside. So since we were missing a couple of things, we were waiting on some parts and some answers. How the deck was put together. It was like left open. It's like raining while we're building this thing. And until the rest, like, no homeowner or architect or anybody you're building for is going to care about getting rained on while you're building it until you get the house dried in, or what it would be. and it's still getting wet in one area.
Oh my
Like,
God.
that is a big problem, and that's the difference between building and scheduling. Like, you can't just let it happen.
Yeah.
You have to do something about it right now, even if it's put up the roof like you think it's going to be and adjust it.
I see it all the time. As I travel around, I
Right.
look at job sites. You know, dude, you see holes in people's houses. Like I drove on my way here. I drove past a this subdivision. I don't know who the builder is, but I looked over and they're missing all these doors and windows in houses that are drywalled.
Right.
And I'm like, what the F, dude? At least cover it with Tyvek or something.
What is that like? If that's your house that you're building, and you're like, well, the
Dude.
good part is that I'm in good hands here because I'm spending more money than I've ever spent on anything. And then you just roll up and you're like, oh, there's the snow piling up in my front
Then you're like,
corner.
oh, it's raining in my living room.
And look, that happens. That's part of construction. We build year round in Virginia.
I know,
So-
but do you know what that is, dude? That's the difference between a scheduler and a builder.
Right.
Builder's going to close that in. He's at least going to put
Do their
something
best.
temporary up.
Right.
So that the elements aren't in your house, especially if he's got to wait so long that he's in drywall and he's still missing windows and doors or whatever. Or, you know, the big accordion doors, all the popular stuff that we're putting in houses these days. Because there's a long lead time on that.
Yeah, lead times is actually a really good topic here for this because, and actually you're collecting doors. I mean, I know we're building the same kind of stuff here, so we're dealing with the same issues. But when you're rolling out new products, I mean, if you're a small custom builder, you're probably going to be you're gonna be used to asking the question first. How long does it take? Like, oh, you want this new thing? Let me look into it. First question, cost and lead time.
Yep.
Like, you want to know, do I have to order it 3 months in advance, or do I have to order it 3 weeks in advance, so that when you're at the stage where you are closing that house in, you're not finding out that you've got 3 more weeks before that part comes.
Dude, I'm telling you, most guys and girls out there building houses right now are not asking that question. And it's obvious when you drive through. I mean, because a lot of builders are innovating. They're trying new products, things like that. And it's obvious when you drive past them and there's gaping holes in the side of these houses where you know there's going to be like, 12-foot door, and they just didn't get it in time.
So, to that topic, like, when you're the builder and you're working in a big company and you have multiple entities that are working together to put these products on your job site so that you can use them and you can schedule the guys and get them out there, it is the builder's responsibility to point out when things are not working like they're supposed to. Like, for instance, if you find that you're short material at a stage or your subcontractor doesn't know what product they're supposed to use, you can't just put a Band-Aid on that issue, order that couple of sticks here, or fix that problem there. You have to be able to point it out to the people that are going to fix it for the future homes. This is residential, moving homes thing. So recently we've had some issues with some new products that we're using, and it looks like the takeoffs did include a couple of things. Excuse me. Shifting here in my great little fish tank of
Oh, I thought you were about to
spot here.
sneeze.
No. What was I saying?
I stopped listening to like 10 minutes ago, man.
No, okay, so if you realize that there are things missing from your process or your pick list or whatever, you're not getting the right products out, you're having to change things on a regular basis. If you run into repeated problems, it's your responsibility as a builder to go to do the extra work, to point it out, to try to get those things fixed in the future so that you don't repeatedly run into these issues.
Yeah.
That's the difference between just getting it there and building it. Like,
Building it, yep.
if you know you're missing it every time, change a takeoff. If it comes out wrong size every time, prepare for that.
Dude, this is gonna kill you. I was arguing with a guy the other day, and he was saying just what you just said. He was like, "Well, if it's wrong, I gotta fix it. I gotta take the time to fix it." And we were having a conversation about speeding things up, and I was like, "You're just gonna have to roll with it." I couldn't believe I was saying it. I'm like, "You're just gonna have to roll with it. You're just gonna have to get this done." And he's like, "Well, I gotta fix this problem." I'm like, "We'll fix it later." And he's like, "I'll never fix it if I don't fix it now." And I'm like, "You just got to get this done." And I'm thinking to myself, what am I saying to this guy?
Right.
Of course you have to fix it now. Otherwise, we're just kicking that can down the street. He was trying to be a builder, and I was trying to be a speedy guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just hurry up.
You're trying to move things wrong like corporate America.
Yeah, like I'm so corporate these days.
Yeah. God, you're so corporate. I was just going to say that. It's like, you know what you look like today? Super corporate.
Super corporate. So anyway, I think really the big difference between these schedulers and builders is A builder will plan always. He is going to understand his product better than anyone else. He's going to understand all the pieces that go into it and what the requirements are for those. And he's going to plan for everything.
Sure.
So that when the people come out, when the trades come out, he's ready for them. He's not going to bring somebody else out until he knows they're finished and the next trade can start. So he's going to plan and he's going to execute rather than just, blindly A, B, C, D, E, and just hope that everybody does their job. So that's the big difference. So let's talk about our upcoming, our live event.
I think we should call it your live event.
It's ours, Jason. So September 26th at Vanish Farm Brewery in Leesburg, Virginia. We're gonna have a live event. We're gonna simulcast. No, that's not right.
No.
We're going to stream. We're going to live stream a podcast. That's what we're going to do. We're going to live stream a podcast, not simulcast. I don't know what that is.
No, I heard it one time. So I just said it without thinking about it.
It sounded so super cool.
It really did, yeah.
So, but that's going to be pretty awesome. So that'll be at Vanish.
What's going to be awesome is seeing if you can figure out how to broadcast live. Because I know I can't, and I don't plan to look into it.
Listen, man, I'm a builder, and that means I do things. I'm a doer, so I'll figure it out. I've never done it before.
Find the person that can.
Oh, we still need a nerd.
Yes, desperately, yeah. You like that.
So anyway, but that's what we're going to do. So I'm looking for, what I'm trying to do is have some giveaways. Mm-hmm. So come out. I'm trying to line up a couple of guys to interview during the live event. It'll be on YouTube. It should be super cool or a complete disaster. It might just be Jason and I drinking beer, staring at each other like, where's everybody?
That actually sounds great.
That'll be fun too. But they have fantastic food. They have great beer. It's a great place. And the cool thing is they've expanded over the last 3 years. And they have built like 3 or 4 additional buildings since they originally opened. So, and the construction that they've done is super cool. It's a great example of sustainable building. So we can talk about all that later. But September 26th, be about from 5 to 7 or so. We're going to have our live event. We're going to live stream.
What day of the week is that?
It's a Thursday. Kind of sucks.
I might be able to make it.
You freaking better make it. We also there's a new website we're going to launch in a couple of weeks. BuilderTactics.com. So wait for that. That will be, that's just it's an awesome project we've been working on in the background. It's almost ready. We found somebody else to do it, which is awesome. What else we have going on?
I like that you keep saying we in that case because...
I'm inclusive. I'm all inclusive.
Yeah. He's like a resort vacation.
We also have a couple of sponsors that are going to come on and that, we said a long time ago that we would not have any sponsors that we didn't believe in their product. So we've been working with a couple of guys that have amazing products that are designed for the construction industry, designed with you guys in mind. And we'll probably announce that in the next 2 or 3 weeks as well. Cool. So a lot going on. Remember, follow us on Instagram. Check out the Facebook page. You can bookmark buildertactics.com now, but there's nothing there. You gotta wait. You gotta wait for it.
Yeah, it's not ready yet.
It's coming. Other than that, awesome. Thanks for. Oh, guys, Jason. I don't know if you saw this. Somebody gave us a 1 on iTunes.
What?
With no comment. I just like to say F you.
Oh my God! Yes, definitely F you.
So anyway, but there's been a ton of great comments on iTunes. We love them. They're fantastic. We're actually going to put together a show.
No comments on the 1 star.
No.
Just 1 star.
Just 1 star.
Just hates building.
Just a hater.
Just a hater.
Just a hater. Probably
a demolition guy. Probably. Used to taking shit apart.
Yeah. He's like, "Well, you guys keep building it.
You guys are building it. Taking it apart's where it's at."
I don't know, dude, but I saw the one.
Guy sounds like an idiot.
I almost threw my iPad across the room. Yeah. Anyway, my wife told me to stop dwelling on it. Like, whatever.
So you just talked about it on the next podcast?
Anyway.
This is fun.
Anyway, keep them coming. We love the comments. We really do. They're fantastic, and they help us make a better show for you guys. So, anyway, thanks a lot. Bye.